The phone vibrated against the granite countertop with a sickening buzz. It was the only sound in the entire apartment. The kitchen was dark except for the blue light emitting from her screen. I was standing over the sink with a glass of water in my hand. My knuckles were white as I gripped the glass. I looked down at the notification. It was a preview of a message from a number she had not saved. But I recognized the area code. The message read, "I can still smell you on my sheets. Come back." The timestamp was 2 minutes ago. Sarah was asleep in the bedroom down the hall. The door was cracked open just an inch. I could hear the soft rhythm of her breathing. She was sleeping like a baby. She was sleeping like someone with a clear conscience. I put my glass down on the counter. I did not slam it. I placed it gently on a coaster. Silence was my weapon now. I picked up the phone. She had changed her passcode last week. She said it was because of a security breach at work. I believed her then. I was an idiot then, but I was not an idiot now. I remembered watching her type it in yesterday at the grocery store. 4 digits. 1, 9, 9, 4. Her birth year. How original. I typed in the code. The lock screen clicked open. My heart did not race. My heart stopped beating entirely. It felt like a block of ice had settled in my chest. I opened the messages. There it was. A thread that went back 6 months. 6 months of lies. 6 months of working late. 6 months of going to visit my mom. I scrolled up. My thumb moved mechanically. I saw pictures. Pictures she took in this apartment. Pictures she took in our bed while I was at work. I saw them together at a bar I took her to for our anniversary. They were mocking me. The guy was not a stranger. It was David. David from her accounting department. The guy she called work dad. The guy she said was too old for her. He was 50. She was 27. I read the text from last week. "He is so boring," she wrote. "He wants to watch movies on the couch again. I just want to feel alive with you." David replied with explicit details of what he would do to her. I felt bile rising in my throat. I swallowed it down. I would not vomit. I would not cry. I would not wake her up and scream. That is what the old me would have done. The old me would have demanded answers. The old me would have begged her to explain. But that version of me died the second I read that text. I need evidence. I need everything. I walked to the living room where my laptop Saturday. I opened it and dimmed the screen to the lowest setting. I plugged her phone into my computer. I initiated a full backup. It would take 20 minutes. I stared at the progress bar. 1%. 5%. I heard a rustle from the bedroom. I froze. The floorboards creaked. I pulled the cord out instantly. I tossed her phone back onto the counter. I sat at the kitchen table and pretended to drink water. The footsteps stopped. She was just turning over. Safe. I plugged the phone back in. My hands were steady. I was operating on pure adrenaline and hate. The backup finished. I ejected the phone. I placed it back exactly where I found it. The angle had to be perfect. I wiped the screen with my shirt to remove my fingerprints. I was a ghost in my own life. I went back to the bedroom. I slid into bed next to her. She shifted in her sleep. Her arm draped over my chest. Her skin felt like fire against mine. I wanted to push her off. I wanted to throw her through the window. But I lay there like a statue. I let her hold me. I let her think she was safe. Because if she knew I knew, she would prepare. She would delete evidence. She would spin a story. She would turn the victim card into a weapon. No, I needed the element of surprise. I stared at the ceiling fan spinning above us. Round and round. Just like the thoughts in my head. I did not sleep that night. I watched the sun come up through the blinds. The gray light hit her face. She looked beautiful. It made me sick. Her alarm went off at 7. She groaned and reached for her phone. My breath held in my lungs. She checked her notifications. I watched her eyes through my eyelashes. She saw the text from David. Her eyes widened for a split second. She quickly glanced at me. I keep my breathing slow and rhythm. I pretended to be deep in sleep. She exhaled softly. She deleted the message. She typed a quick reply. Then she put the phone down and rolled over to kiss my cheek. "Morning, baby," she whispered. Her voice was scratchy and warm. It was the voice I used to love. Now it sounded like nails on a chalkboard. I opened my eyes. I forced a smile. It felt like my face was cracking. "Morning," I said. My voice was hoarse. "You sleep okay?" she asked. She was so casual. So good at this. Yeah, I lied. Out like a light. She smiled and got out of bed. She walked to the bathroom. I watched her go. I calculated my net worth in my head. I calculated how much of this apartment was mine. I paid the deposit. I paid the rent. Her name was on the lease, but I paid the bills. I bought the furniture. I bought her car. Technically, the car was in my name. She just drove it. This was going to be fun. I got up and started the coffee maker. I needed caffeine to function. She came out of the shower wrapped in a towel. Steam followed her. "I have a late meeting tonight," she said. She didn't look at me when she said it. She was pouring sugar into her mug. "Oh yeah?" I asked. "With who?" "Just the finance team," she said. "End of quarter stuff." "The finance team?" David was the head of finance. That sucks, I said. I was thinking of making steaks. Save them for tomorrow, she said. I might be really late. Okay, I said. Don't wait up, she said. She kissed me on the lips. I tasted her toothpaste. I tasted her betrayal. She got dressed in her best suit. A navy blue skirt and a white blouse. She looked professional. She looked innocent. She grabbed her keys. Love you, she called out. Love you too, I said. The door clicked shut. I waited 5 seconds. I waited 10 seconds. I walked to the window. I watched her walk to the car. She got in and checked her makeup in the mirror. She was smiling. She was texting. I knew exactly who she was texting. She drove away. I turned around and looked at the empty apartment. It was time to work. I called my boss. I'm sick, I said. Food poisoning. Take the day, he said. Feel better. I hung up. I sat down at the computer. I opened the backup folder. I had everything. Texts, photos, emails, call logs. She was not smart. She used her work email for hotel confirmations. Best Western, Holiday Inn, Motel 6, Classy. I printed every single email. I printed every single photo. I created a timeline on a notepad. Dates, times, locations. I cross-referenced them with my calendar. On my birthday, she said she was sick. She was at a hotel with David. On Christmas Eve, she went for a last-minute gift run. She was in David's car. I felt a cold rage building in my stomach. It was not hot anger. It was calculating. It was surgical. I looked at the lease agreement. We were month to month. I could end it with 30 days notice. But why wait 30 days? I looked at the car title. It was fully in my name. I paid the insurance. I had the spare key. I looked at her bank statements. We shared a joint account for bills. She had been siphoning money. $50 here, $20 there, transferring it to her personal account, probably to pay for drinks with David. Or lingerie. I checked the credit card statement. Victoria's Secret. $300. I never saw that lingerie. David did. I took a deep breath. I needed a plan. A plan that would hurt. A plan that would destroy her world just like she destroyed mine. I could just kick her out. But that was too easy. She would just go to David. She would cry to her friends. She would tell everyone I was abusive. She would rewrite history. I needed to control the narrative. I needed witnesses. I needed to nuking her reputation so thoroughly that David wouldn't want her. David had a wife. I did some digging on LinkedIn. David had a wife and 2 kids. His wife's name was Linda. Linda was a real estate agent. I found her Facebook. She posted pictures of their family vacations. Happy anniversary to my soulmate, she posted last week. Poor Linda. She had no idea. I downloaded Linda's contact info. I saved it to a draft folder. I would not send it yet. Timing is everything. I decided to play the long game. I had to survive tonight first. She said she was working late. I knew where she was going. I checked the Find My iPhone app on my iPad. We shared locations for safety. She usually turned it off when she was with him. Or she left her phone at the office. I checked it now. It showed her at the office. Static. Unmoving. She left it in her desk. Smart girl. But I put an AirTag in the car last month. Not because I suspected her, but because we lost a car in a parking garage once. It was hidden under the spare tire in the trunk. I opened the AirTag app. The car was not at the office. The car was moving. It was heading north, towards the river. There was a nice restaurant by the river. Expensive. Romantic. I grabbed my keys. I grabbed my camera. I was going to dinner. I drove my truck. She didn't know I had bought a new lens. A telephoto lens. I parked a block away from the restaurant. I walked to a spot where I could see the patio. It was a warm night. They were sitting outside. Table 12. By the railing. David was wearing a suit. He looked greasy. He was laughing. He reached across the table and touched her hand. She leaned into it. She looked at him the way she used to look at me. Click. I took a photo. Crisp. Clear. High definition. I took another. He leaned in and kissed her. Click. Evidence secured. I watched them eat. I watched them drink wine. I watched him feed her a bite of dessert. It was disgusting. It was perfect. I went back to my truck. I waited. They left at 9. They got in my car. She let him drive my car. That pissed me off more than the kiss. That was my suspension. My tires. I followed them. I stayed 3 cars back. They didn't go to a hotel. They went to his house. His wife must be out of town. I parked down the street. I watched them go inside. The lights went on in the living room. Then the bedroom. Then the lights went off. I sat there in the dark. My hands were clenched on the steering wheel. I could burn the house down. I could kick in the door. But no. I had a better idea. I drove home. I beat her back. I was sitting on the couch when she walked in at midnight. She looked disheveled. Her hair was messy. Her lipstick was worn off. She smelled like cologne. Cheap musk. Hey, she said, startled. You're still up? Couldn't sleep. I said without looking up from the TV. How was the meeting? Exhausting, she sighed. She dropped her bag on the floor. The numbers were a mess. We were grinding all night. Did you eat? I asked. We ordered pizza, she lied. Cool, I said. She walked over to hug me. I stood up before she could reach me. I'm going to bed, I said. I'm tired. She looked confused. Are you okay? She asked. Just a headache, I said. I walked past her. I didn't kiss her goodnight. I locked the bedroom door behind me. Baby. She knocked. Why is the door locked? I don't want to wake you up if I get up early, I said through the door. Go sleep in the guest room. Silence. Are you mad at me? She asked. Her voice trembled slightly. Guilt. No, I said. Just sick. Go sleep. She lingered for a moment. Then I heard her walk away. She slept in the guest room. Phase 1 complete. Creation of distance. The next morning, I left before she woke up. I went to the bank. I opened a new account in my name only. I transferred half of our savings into it. Wait. No. I transferred all of the savings that I had contributed, which was 90%. I left her $300. Enough for groceries. Not enough for a lawyer. I called the landlord. I'm not renewing the lease, I said. We're moving out at the end of the month. Okay, he said. I need a written notice. I'll drop it off today, I said. I went to work. I could barely focus. I spent the day editing the photos. I made a PDF document. Title, The Truth. Page 1, the texts. Page 2, the hotel receipts. Page 3, the photos from last night. Page 4, a time-stamped log of every lie. It was 20 pages long. It was a masterpiece of destruction. I printed 3 copies. One for her parents. One for David's wife. One for her boss. Yes, her boss. David was high up, but he wasn't the owner. The company had a strict non-fraternization policy, especially between supervisors and subordinates. It was a fireable offense. I put the copies in manila envelopes. I did not mail them yet. I wanted to see her face when it happened. I went home. She was cooking dinner, trying to make up for last night. Lasagna. My favorite. It smelled good. It made me want to flip the table. Hey, she said brightly. I made dinner. I see that, I said. I put my keys on the counter. We need to talk, she said. About what? I asked. You've been acting weird, she said. Is it something I did? The audacity. The absolute gall. She was looking at me with puppy dog eyes. Why would it be something you did? I asked. I leaned against the counter. I crossed my arms. Unless there is something you need to tell me. I gave her an opening. A chance to confess. If she confessed now, maybe I would show mercy. Maybe I wouldn't send the envelope to her parents. Maybe I would just leave quietly. She hesitated. Her eyes darted to the left. No, she said. Of course not. I just feel like you're distant. Mercy denied. I'm stressed about work, I lied. They're laying people off. Oh no, she said. She came over and hugged me. You're not going to lose your job, she said. You're the best. I stood stiff in her arms. Yeah, I said. I hope not. We ate dinner in silence. She tried to make conversation. I gave one-word answers. How is your mom? She asked. Fine. Did you watch the game? No. She eventually gave up. She started cleaning the dishes. Her phone buzzed on the table. She froze. I looked at it. David, are you going to get that? I asked. No, she said quickly. It's probably just spam. At 8 p.m.? I asked. Spammers never sleep, she laughed nervously. She grabbed the phone and put it in her pocket. I'm going to take a shower, she said. She ran to the bathroom. I knew she was calling him. I walked softly to the bathroom door. I put my ear against the wood. The water was running, but I could hear her voice. He's acting weird, David. I don't know. Maybe he suspects something. No, he hasn't said anything. I can't meet you tomorrow. We need to lay low. I love you too. I walked back to the living room. My blood was boiling. Lay low. Like they were criminals. Well, they were. They were stealing my life. Saturday was her sister's engagement party. The whole family would be there. Her parents. Her aunts. Her cousins. Everyone loved me. They thought I was the perfect boyfriend. They kept asking when I was going to propose. I had a ring in the safe. I was going to propose in Paris next month. Now I was going to return the ring and buy a jet ski. The party was the target. That was the drop zone. I spent the next 2 days being the perfect actor. I bought her flowers. I apologized for being moody. I told her work was better. She relaxed. She let her guard down. She started texting David openly again, thinking I wasn't looking. Friday night. I told her I was going to play poker with the boys. Have fun, she said. Don't lose too much money. I won't, I said. I didn't go to poker. I went to David's house. I waited until Linda came home. I walked up to the door. I rang the bell. My heart was thumping against my ribs. This was the point of no return. The door opened. Linda stood there. She looked tired. She was holding a glass of wine. Can I help you? She asked. Hi, Linda, I said. You don't know me. My name is Mike. I think we have something in common. She looked confused. What? My girlfriend, I said. And your husband? Her face dropped. The color drained from her cheeks. She knew. Deep down, she knew. Women always know. What are you saying? She whispered. I handed her the envelope. I'm sorry, I said. I thought you should know. She took the envelope. Her hands were shaking. Is this proof? I said. Everything. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Why are you doing this? Because he ruined my life, I said. And she ruined yours. They deserve to burn. She nodded slowly. Thank you, she whispered. She closed the door. I walked back to the truck. I felt light. I felt heavy. 1 down. 2 to go. I went home. Sarah was watching a movie. How was poker? She asked. I won, I said. Big time. Saturday morning. The day of the party. We got dressed. She wore a red dress. She looked stunning. A stunning liar. I wore my best suit. You look handsome, she said. Thanks, I said. We drove to the venue. It was a fancy banquet hall. Her family greeted us. Her dad shook my hand firmly. Good to see you, Mike, he said. When are you joining the family officially? He winked. I smiled. Soon, sir, I said. Very soon. We sat at the family table. Champagne was poured. Toasts were made. Sarah was holding my hand under the table. She was squeezing it, playing the role of the loving girlfriend. I waited for the speeches to end. I waited until everyone was eating. I stood up. I clinked my glass with a fork. The room went silent. Everyone looked at me. Sarah looked up, surprised. Mike, she whispered. What are you doing? I ignored her. Hi, everyone, I said. My voice projected across the room. I just wanted to say a few words. About love. And loyalty. The crowd awed. They thought I was proposing. I saw her mom pull out her phone to record. Perfect. Sarah and I have been together for 3 years, I said. I thought we had everything. I was planning to propose next month. Gasps of delight. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Fake tears. Or tears of joy. She didn't know what was coming. But something happened, I said. My tone shifted. It dropped an octave. It became cold. I found out that Sarah has a different idea of love. The room got quiet. Confused murmurs. Sarah's smile faltered. Mike, sit down, she hissed. She prefers the love of her boss, David. I continued. David who is 50. David who is married. David who she has been sleeping with for 6 months. Silence. Absolute vacuum of sound. You could hear a pin drop. Sarah stood up. Stop it, she screamed. He's drunk. I'm not drunk, I said calmly. I reached into my jacket pocket. I pulled out a stack of photos. I tossed them onto the center of the table. They slid across the white tablecloth. Pictures of them kissing. Screenshots of the sexts. Her dad picked one up. His face turned purple. Her mom dropped her phone. How could you? I asked her directly. In our bed. In my car. While I was working to pay for your life? Sarah was hyperventilating. It's not true. She sobbed. It's Photoshop. Check her phone, I said to her dad. Check the hidden folder. Passcode 1994. Her dad looked at her. The disgust in his eyes was palpable. Sarah, he said. His voice was a growl. Is this true? She couldn't speak. She just cried. Ugly crying. Makeup running down her face. The party was over. People were whispering, staring, pointing. I looked around the room. I'm sorry to ruin the party, I said. But I couldn't let you welcome a liar into the family. I'm done. I threw my napkin on the table. I turned and walked away. She ran after me. She grabbed my arm in the hallway. Mike, please. She begged. Let me explain. It was a mistake. It meant nothing. I shook her off. It meant everything, I said. It meant you don't respect me. It meant you were a cheater. And I don't date cheaters. Please, she sobbed. I love you. I looked her in the eye. No, you don't, I said. You love attention. And now you have it. All of it. I walked out the front door. The air outside was crisp. I felt like I could breathe for the first time in days. I got in my truck. I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from David. Linda must have given him the envelope. I blocked his number. I blocked Sarah's number. I drove to my new apartment. It was small. It was empty. But it was mine. And it was clean. I sat on the floor with a pizza. I stared at the wall. It was over. The revenge was sweet. But the aftertaste was bitter. I was alone. I loved her. Part of me still did. But I killed that part. I had to. It was survival. My phone buzzed. An email notification. From her boss. The real boss. Subject, internal investigation. I had sent the 3rd envelope before the party. Dear Mr. Smith, it read. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We take these matters seriously. David has been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. We will be contacting Sarah regarding her employment status. Boom. Job gone. Relationship gone. Reputation gone. I should feel happy. I should feel triumphant. But I just felt tired. I lay down on the floor. I closed my eyes. I wondered what she was doing right now. Probably screaming at her parents. Probably calling David. David who was likely getting kicked out by Linda. They deserved each other. Two ruins crumbling together. I woke up the next morning to a banging on my door. It was Sarah. She found me. Open up. She screamed. I know you're in there. I looked through the peephole. She looked like a wreck. Puffy eyes. Matted hair. Wearing the same dress from yesterday. Go away, I said through the door. I need to talk to you. She yelled. My dad kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. I fired. David won't answer my calls. Mike, please. I have no money. I leaned against the door. I could open it. I could let her in. She was desperate. She was broken. I could be the savior. I could take her back and have the upper hand forever. She would be indebted to me. She would never cheat again out of fear. Or I could leave her out there. Let her hit rock bottom. Let her learn that actions have consequences. Let her free fall. She pounded on the door again. Mike, please. I'm scared. Her voice cracked. It sounded like the girl I fell in love with. The girl who was afraid of thunderstorms. The girl who cried during commercials. My heart ached. I reached for the lock. My hand hovered over the deadbolt. If I open this door, I lose. If I open this door, I am a doormat. But if I keep it closed, am I a monster? She is human. She is suffering. Is the punishment too harsh? Did I go too far? I destroyed her entire life in 48 hours. Was that justice? Or was that cruelty? I pulled my hand back. I walked away from the door. I put on my noise-canceling headphones. I turned up the music. I sat by the window and watched the clouds move. I could still feel the vibrations of her pounding on the floorboards. Thump, 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 like a heartbeat dying. I closed my eyes, and I waited for silence. What would you have done? Did I go too far by ruining her job and family relationship? Should I have opened the door? Or did she get exactly what she deserved?